watching the Florida Channel, a public service of the Florida Legislature, WFSU-TV, and Florida State University.
The Florida Supreme Court is now in ceremonial session. All who have cause to plead, draw near, give attention, and you shall be heard. God save these United States, the great state of Florida, and this honorable court. Ladies and gentlemen, the Florida Supreme Court, please be seated.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Florida Supreme Court, it is my honor to welcome each of you here today to this induction ceremony for new members of the Florida Bar. This is a great day for each of you inductees, your families, and your friends. Everyone who helped you overcome all the challenges and difficulties you faced along the way to this happy occasion. This ceremony is a time for celebration. So, unlike most other court ceremonies, you're free to take photographs and even applaud as appropriate. Being a member of the legal profession is a great privilege, and it is a great responsibility. Lawyers give life to the rule of law in our society. The legal profession is an essential pillar for our democratic institutions and a bulwark for our liberties as Americans. Without the legal profession, our way of life, the freedom and rights we too often take for granted, would not be possible. As you enter your professional life today, I encourage you to always remember the crucial role of your profession in our way of life as Americans. And there's some other things I hope you will also remember. There is great personal and professional satisfaction to be found in reaching out to those less fortunate in our communities who cannot afford legal representation. Providing pro bono services is part of the oath you will take today and part of the obligation that goes hand in hand with the privilege of practicing law. As a member of the Florida Bar, you will have obligations to your clients, to the public, and to the other members of the bar. Always remember that your conduct will bring credit or discredit not only to you as an individual, but also to the profession of which you are a part. In an important sense, in whatever you do, you will stand as a representative of the Florida Bar. It is now my great honor to call upon Kelly Overstreet Johnson, past president of the Florida Bar, to come to the podium for remarks.
Thank you. Chief Justice Kennedy, members of the court, honored guests, family, and friends, welcome. This is a very important day, and I am so glad to be able to be here and be a part of this ceremony. I am not Mayanne Downs, the current president of the Florida Bar. She is across the street doing very important things with the legislature, and I am thrilled to be able to take her place. On behalf of the 90,000 members of the Florida Bar, plus or minus, as well as President Mayanne Downs, let me offer you our collective congratulations. It's truly an honor to be one of the first to say that to my newest colleagues. I will tell you that I have been an attorney for almost 30 years. I know that's very hard to believe, right? And I still remember sitting where you are and what a neat feeling it was. And I hope that it will always be one of those special days that you remember. I know it is for me. I was just telling some of my colleagues sitting over here that I remember exactly when it was. It was my mother's birthday, and I will always remember it. So I hope, like my experience, that this will be one of those really special times for you. Practicing law is a challenging and often difficult profession, but it is rewarding as well. I'd like to share a couple thoughts with you that I have learned over the years and that I hope you'll find useful as you begin your legal career. First, be prepared for the long haul. Practicing law can be a real endurance contest. Don't take shortcuts, and never forget that in every case there are human beings with very real lives and livelihoods at stake. Second, be a good communicator. And I have to tell you, if you don't remember anything else I say today, and you probably won't, this is one of those things you should remember. One of your most important duties is going to be to communicate with your clients and to educate your clients about the process. They don't understand our system. They are never going to understand our system. So try to help them along in whatever area you are practicing. This means minding kind of the manners that your parents taught you, returning their phone calls, being polite, talking to them, explaining. Don't get frustrated. Copy them with things that you do for them in their files so that the things that they are getting are not just your bill for services rendered. They will really appreciate kind of knowing what is going on in their case, and they also won't mind that bill at the end of the month if they see that you've been doing something for them. But the single best thing you can remember is talk to them, communicate with them. You will have more satisfied clients, and you will not have a bar grievance against you. One of the things that I found over the years in my bar work was that one of the most common complaints that lawyers have against them when they get complaints filed, and I know none of you will ever have a complaint, but some lawyers do, and they tend to deal with communication with their clients. That tends to be one of the main issues. And sometimes if you would just talk to your clients, it would never even get to that level. So I probably sound like I'm harping on that, but I really do think it's important. And finally, remember that underlying everything we do as lawyers, there must be a commitment to maintaining professionalism and civility. In the oath you're going to take today, you will solemnly swear to be respectful, to be honest, and to abstain from all offensive behavior and anything dishonorable. Many lawyers, particularly in the heat of battle, forget that part of the oath. Try not to get so wrapped up in a case that you behave unprofessionally to opposing counsel, you will probably see them again in another case. Don't make everything a war. It doesn't have to be. And sometimes you're doing your clients a disservice by making it very difficult to deal with the opposing counsel. Ours is an honorable profession developed from years of efforts by many people to advance the rule of law. Please continue that tradition. Be an honorable lawyer. Vow to enhance professional values and increase respect for those in our profession. Your reputation as a lawyer starts today. I'd also like to take just a minute and encourage you to get involved in bar activities. I got involved in my local bar activities when I was a brand new lawyer. Actually, I was still in law school. I thought that might be a good way to find a job. One of the things I found is that really helped in my personal and professional growth as a lawyer. I met these wonderfully experienced lawyers who took me under their wing. They became really good mentors to me, and I would urge you to take advantage of that. Get involved in your bar activities and get to know some of the lawyers that are more experienced than you are and listen to their advice. They might actually have some good things to offer. And I know that the things that they told me over the years have been extremely helpful, and in fact, I still call on them from time to time. So I hope you'll have that opportunity. In closing, I'd like to share with you some thoughts on professionalism that were given by then State Senator Rod Smith. Senator Smith said, "Our professionalism suffers from a win-at-all-cost mentality that too many young lawyers are willing to accept." And I will say it's not just young lawyers. The role of the lawyer is advocacy and effective representation within a framework of ethics and professionalism. In the age of Fox News, court TV, and talk radio, there is a risk that lawyering will be subverted to a cult of personality rather than honored and respected as a profession. To be a profile in courage, we must show a willingness to accept defeat while striving to sustain or even expand justice. Senator Smith had it right. Ladies and gentlemen, today you become lawyers. Each of you will have the opportunity to make justice and fairness happen. Take advantage of that wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your special day, and I wish you much success.
I'm now pleased to ask Judge Simone Marstiller of the 1st District Court of Appeal to make remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice, members of the court. Good afternoon. What a great day this is. Not just a great day for our country, but certainly a great day for each of you personally. I'd like to say congratulations to the candidates on passing the bar and on your imminent admission to the practice of law. I'd also like to congratulate the candidates' families. Today, you reap the reward for all of the love, support, encouragement, and money that you've given to get your loved one to this moment. I'm particularly pleased to be not just a part of your swearing-in ceremony, but simply to be here to observe it, because when I took the oath of attorney in 1997, I didn't do it at a ceremony like this. Mine was a very intimate event at the courtroom in the 5th District Court of Appeal in Daytona Beach, where I was clerking at the time. And my boss and mentor, Judge Emerson Thompson, swore me in. And the only folks witnessing my moment were my co-law clerk, the judge's assistant, and the marshal of the court, who also doubled as my event photographer. But it was perfect, even though it was small. And I was simply elated to finally be able, when asked, "What do you do?" to officially, legitimately, and proudly say, "I'm an attorney." I imagine that you're all feeling exactly the same way, all of that same excitement and pride, and you should be. You've worked hard to get to this point, and you've chosen a profession that gives you prestige in your communities and allows you to use your talents to make a difference in people's lives. It truly is a privilege to practice law. Now, in preparing for today, I asked several of my colleagues on the First District Court of Appeal what one piece of advice they would give to newly minted attorneys. Here's some of the responses that I got. Tell them, don't be afraid to ask a lot of questions. No one expects them to know everything right out of the gate. Well, frankly, no one expects you to know anything right out of the gate. Another said, tell them to concentrate first on becoming good lawyers, and the money and success will follow in time. Another colleague said, tell them to try different things as they move through their legal careers. They should push themselves to learn new skills and new areas of the law, because that's how they will grow professionally and personally. And then my favorite was, tell them to read Shakespeare. And when I got that, I kind of looked quizzically and asked my colleague to elaborate, which he did. And the message is this, that practicing law is hard work, and it can be all-consuming. And because of the nature of the work we do, we tend to forget that there is actually a softer, more cultured side to life. So ever so often, try to read some Shakespeare, go to a play, listen to classical music in the park, or even go to an art exhibit. Just keep culture in your personal lives to balance the edginess that can creep in to our professional lives. Now, I think those are all pretty good pieces of advice, but here are two more that I implore you to keep firmly in mind. The first is to be prepared. Nothing, except maybe dishonesty and lack of civility, will ruin your reputation more quickly than being less than fully prepared for that meeting, or that deposition, or that motion hearing, or that trial, or that oral argument. Judges know, and we do talk about, who the good lawyers are and who those are that come to court unprepared and shooting from the hip. Don't be that lawyer. And second, remember always that you are now a player in our judicial system. And as such, you are responsible, as are the judges you appear before, for maintaining the integrity of our system of justice, as well as the legal profession. I think we all know that the antics and bad behavior of a few reflect poorly on all of us. So as one of my colleagues put it, you don't have to be a jerk to be a good lawyer. And with that, I congratulate you again, and I wish you all much success in your legal careers. God bless, and I thank you for your time and attention today.
I would now like to ask Sean T. Desmond, President-elect of the Young Lawyers Division of the Florida Bar, to come to the podium for remarks.
Thank you, Chief Justice Kennedy, members of the court, honored guests, President Overstreet Johnson, distinguished guests, candidates for admission to the Florida Bar. I want to thank you very much on behalf of the Young Lawyers Division of the Florida Bar for the opportunity to speak to you today. Just over 10 years ago, coming up on 11, I was sitting in your chair. And at that time, I can imagine, I remember the pride that I had in having passed the bar and having gotten through law school. I remember the pride that I had in standing before this court, and absolute terror as I moved forward to the practice. It's, like I said, it's been 10 years since I've done that, and with each day that's passed, I've grown in my appreciation for what you're about to become. And what I want to talk to you about today specifically was the transformation you're about to have. Everything prior to just a few moments from now will be your pre-lawyer life. Everything after, from now on until the day you die, you will be lawyers. And everything you do, people will say, lawyer, attorney, so-and-so did this. So with that, I kind of want to turn to, probably in my opinion, the most important thing that I've heard echoed here is your reputation. There is virtually nothing that is more important than your reputation. You need to make sure that you, in everything you do, that you put that first. In your communications with other attorneys, always have civility, always have professionalism. In your communications with clients, I sit on a local grievance committee, and I echo what's been told you today, that the number one thing that causes people problems is not returning the phone call. No matter how hard the phone call is, take the phone call. Document it, be respectful. There is, as has been said, there is nothing that can take you down quicker than just that, forgetting to do that very small thing. The other thing about reputation, and I think it's particularly relevant for today's times, is social media. I want to talk to you about that because we've seen more and more how the way people forget and take off the cloak of being an attorney and go out and go into their world and allow things to pop up on social media that will be seen. So I urge you to be cognizant of the fact that you are attorneys wherever you go. And I urge you to be professional no matter where you are. The other thing I want to mention was, and I think this is also extremely important, are relationships. Look around. In your group right now, the people that you're here with will continue to pop up in your lives. Everyone here will tell you that as you go forward, the relationships continue to build, and people don't go away. They continue to help you. Maintain your friendships. Call your friends, even if they're in different parts of the state. Maintain those relationships, and they will continue to reward you on all levels. I urge you to do that. It's been said that the practice of law is going to change more in the next 5 years than it has in the last 50. That is true with technology. That is true with the economic times we're in. It's true with the structure of how law firms are. Many of you will probably find yourselves starting law firms and going out and practicing in the world. The number one thing I would say with that is be responsible with your finances. It's very easy to get into the practice and think you need everything. You think you need this marketing. You think you need this. You think you need to have paralegals. You think you need everything. Take your time. It's not a race. Take your time and do it slowly and build your practice slowly. No matter where you are, whether you're in government practice or private practice, build it slowly. It will take time to build, but too many people allow themselves to rush, and they allow themselves to accumulate the debt. And then when you have, from personal experience, when you have a big overhead at a practice, you're forced to take whatever you can. And at that point, you start to sacrifice some of the balance in your life. It's not, you will end up becoming a workaholic, and then you will maybe forget some other important aspects. And thankfully, I think people can come back from that very well, but try not to let that happen to you. Just be very responsible with your money. I want to urge you very much to do pro bono. That has been and continues to be one of the most rewarding things that I ever did, and I never thought that I would find such rewards in doing pro bono work. I can honestly tell you, in the number of cases I've had in the 10 years of practicing in private, on the state side, as a prosecutor, in every case I've done, the ones I remember most are the pro bono clients that I was able to help, because that's what it really was all about, helping someone. When you forget about yourself and you move away from yourself and you go and help someone else for the pure sake of helping someone, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing a child be adopted, than seeing someone out of a bad situation that you were able to help them do. And you have a special power that will continue to grow. You know, we've joked about how we don't know anything when we first graduate. I think you know a lot more than we give you credit for, because I don't know that we could take that bar exam right now. But you all are extremely bright, and the fact that you're here tells me that you will continue to display the same type of habits. As you get more powerful in your practice, don't forget the little people. Don't forget the people that can't help themselves, and I urge you to do that. I want to leave you with a quote that I was reading through, and I urge you to get involved in the bar activities and your local community service projects. If you can get involved in an Inns of Court, some of you probably have been in an Inns of Court by now. It's a great mentoring program. I urge you to get involved. And get the subscriptions to the publications. You will find great things in those publications. And I came across this quote, and I wanted to leave it with you, as I believe it pretty much sums up where we are right now in our economic times, in our legislative session, in everything that's going on. And it was written approximately 200 years ago, and it's still relevant today. It's a quote by Alexis de Tocqueville from Democracy in America. The more we reflect upon all that occurs in the United States, the more we shall be persuaded that the lawyers as a body form the most powerful, if not the only, counterpoise to the democratic element. In that country, we easily perceive how the legal profession is qualified by its attributes, and even by its faults, to neutralize the vices inherent in popular government. When the American people are intoxicated by passion or carried away by the impetuosity of their ideas, they are checked and stopped by the almost invisible influence of their legal counselors. That is our duty. And I want to thank you once again for letting me speak to you and wish you a hearty congratulations.
The next speaker at today's ceremony will be Kathy Moss, President of the Tallahassee Bar Association.
Thank you, Chief Justice and members of the court and honored inductees and guests. I'd first like to point out that I think what Sean just read was the beginning of a bar examination question from my last recollection, so I'm glad that everyone's past that now. I too want to welcome and congratulate you for making it this far. I happen to be a 20-year attorney, graduated Florida State, for any Florida State alums here in the audience, and I have had the privilege of being with the same law firm for my entire career. And that shows that I knew what I wanted when I was looking for a job and was able to find a home. And I encourage you to look for longevity wherever you go and find the way to make that. I know that's rare and it's not going to happen for everybody, but I've been blessed in that regard. Each of you has come to this point after a very long and difficult struggle. Most of you have put considerable efforts into preparing to take the LSAT way back when, in addition to submitting applications to law schools, and then following that by 3 years of very intensive study and a grueling several-day examination of everything that you learned and many things that you never learned in order to take that bar exam. But as you now prepare the long-anticipated transition from student to admitted attorney, I want to commend you on your efforts and present you with several thoughts that you can take with you today. Great attorneys are remembered not for the hours that they billed or the money that they made, but for the just results they achieved and the people that they helped. Keep that in mind as you pursue your career. Place quality first, and your place in this society will be assured. Success in the practice of law comes from 3 things: preparation, preparation, and preparation. And you've heard some about that today, and it can't be reiterated enough. No one ever sat on his deathbed wishing he or she had spent more time in the office. Remember that success is nothing without someone with whom to enjoy it. So find that person if you haven't already. Find the good friends and family that can help make your career as lawyers that much more special. As noted, I am the current president of the Tallahassee Bar Association. I have witnessed firsthand my fellow members of the Tallahassee Bar's dedication to the practice of law, devotion to their neighbors and friends through pro bono activities, and willingness to serve the community as a whole. Through advocacy and compassion, our members represent our clients zealously, but with professionalism. Our membership as a whole represents individuals, corporations, and governmental entities in civil and criminal, as well as administrative matters. And through our very diverse membership, we uphold the rule of law while serving the interests of many. I challenge you to honor the professionalism oath that will be bestowed upon you today, and to be an advocate through collegiality and strengthen the bar and society as a whole. And I also encourage, for any of those remaining in Tallahassee, come on out and join the Tallahassee Bar Association. Thank you.
Each year, we select a candidate who has excelled on the bar exam to make remarks on behalf of the newly admitted lawyers. It is my honor now to call upon Lauren Patricia Blocker for that purpose.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice, members of the court, guests, and fellow inductees. I am honored to have been asked to speak here today. Vince Lombardi once said, "Great leaders are not born, they are made." The same is true for great lawyers. We are shaped by the people around us who teach us, inspire us, and lead by example. God gives us the natural qualities we need to succeed, such as tenacity, intelligence, and the ability to communicate effectively. Our parents teach us to reach for the stars and give us the support we need to help us reach our goals. We go off to college and law school, where our professors teach us how to learn what we need to achieve greatness. They can't teach us everything, so they put us on the spot to motivate us to read cases carefully and always be prepared. Our law school provides us with the opportunity to get out into the world and start working. There, we are shaped by the lawyers and judges we encounter. We are challenged to rise up to the high standards of practicing as a member of the Florida Bar. We may also have family members who have inspired us to be great lawyers and great people. My grandfather, Charles Schaffer, was such a lawyer who practiced law for over 60 years. I did not realize how great an example he set until his funeral a little over a year ago. There, I heard his former partner tell of a hardworking attorney that everyone respected and whose clients considered family. Of the words that my grandfather's partner spoke that day, what struck me the most was not only that he was hardworking, for that I already knew, but also that his name meant something to judges and other attorneys. His partner quoted one judge as saying, "If Charlie Schaffer files something in my court, I know I don't have to check it, because Charlie will have checked it at least twice." His partner also quoted my grandfather as saying that the practice of law is not what it used to be. It used to be that a lawyer's word was his bond. Today, some lawyers tend to forget that, and common courtesy along with it. As I sat and listened to those words, I couldn't help but think of this day and beginning my career as an attorney. I challenged myself then, and I challenge each and every one of you here today to set an example and uphold the integrity of our profession. The legal profession is a noble one, and with every case we take on and every community service activity we undertake, we can make a difference in more than just one person's life. As lawyers, if we see an injustice, more often than not, we have the power to change it. We are truth seekers. Let us never forget the examples and wisdom shown by those that have gone before us, and always be grateful for those that have helped pave the way. In honor of those people, let us be diligent in our work, compassionate to our clients, courteous to each other, and honest with ourselves. On behalf of the newly admitted lawyers, we thank this court for the honor of practicing in this great nation and this great state. Thank you.
The court now recognizes Donna Blanton of the Florida Board of Bar Examiners to present the candidates and move for their admission to the Florida Bar.
May it please the court. Congratulations. Pursuant to the rules of the Supreme Court relating to admissions to the bar, the candidates before you have been rigorously examined by the board, both as to knowledge of the law and understanding of the standards and ideals of the legal profession. In addition, their backgrounds have been subjected to searching character and fitness investigations. On behalf of the Florida Board of Bar Examiners, I certify that these candidates are fully qualified and that each enjoys the enthusiastic recommendation of the board for admission to the Bar of Florida. As your name is called, please stand and remain standing. Mr. Kevin Robert Alvarez. Mr. Enrique M. Barcanero. Ms. Crystal Dawn Bickoff, Ms. Lauren Patricia Blocker, Ms. Jacqueline Jo Brinson, Ms. Brandy Lynn Bulger, Mr. James Cole Cartilage, Mr. Van Allen Cates, Ms. Stephanie Ashley Delgado, Ms. Jill Gunnels Denton, Ms. Serena Sophia DiPiazza, Mr. Greg Defoe, Ms. Emily Elizabeth Eineman, Mr. James Stevenson Fisher, Mr. Sharvin Eric Graham, Ms. Tanisha Nicole Green, Ms. Amy Lucy Hanna, Ms. Renee Collins Harkins, Mr. Gabriel Matthew Hartzell, Ms. Pamela Latrice Hatcher, Ms. Wanda T. Holmes, Ms. Anna Quinson, Ms. Eunice Deborah Malling, Mr. Joe Edward Matthews Jr., Ms. Anna E. Medin, Ms. Danielle Michonne Murray, Ms. Dana Lauren Oberhausen, Mr. Corey L. Randolph, Ms. Andrea Marie Roebuck, Ms. Brittany Lyon Ruffton, Mr. Kellen Roger Simmons, Ms. Elizabeth Singh Silva, Ms. Miriam Rose Sawinski, Mr. Michael Van Cleve, Ms. Monteese Van Ness, Ms. Donna J. Vincent, Mr. Frederick Douglass Wallace IV. On behalf of the board, I move that these candidates be admitted to the Florida Bar.
Thank you, Ms. Blanton. The court accepts your motion and grants it. Now, the moment has come for the final step in your journey to become a lawyer, the oath of admission. I would like each of you to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Florida. I will maintain the respect due to courts of justice and judicial officers. I will not counsel or maintain any suit or proceedings which shall appear to me to be unjust, nor any defense except such as I believe to be honestly debatable under the law of the land. I will employ for the purpose of maintaining the causes confided to me such means only as are consistent with truth and honor, and will never seek to mislead the judge or jury by any artifice or false statement of fact or law. I will maintain the confidence and preserve inviolate the secrets of my clients, and will accept no compensation in connection with their business except from them or with their knowledge and approval. I will abstain from all offensive personality and advance no fact prejudicial to the honor or reputation of a party or witness, unless required by the justice of the cause with which I am charged. I will never reject, from any consideration, personal to myself, the cause of the defenseless or oppressed, or delay anyone's cause, for lucre or malice. So help me God. Let me be the very first to congratulate you as you start your new careers. May each one of you always be faithful to the solemn oath you have just taken. I have one announcement. Let's give them a round of applause. I think there's some people here happy to congratulate you. I have just one announcement. We ask that the newly sworn attorneys remain here in the courtroom standing in front of the bench for a group photograph. We ask all our other guests to please make room. I don't think any of you are up here, but and the new attorneys will gather here in the bench, and then we will join our other guests in the rotunda after we have the photograph. The attorneys, after the photograph, should sign your oaths in the presence of one of the court's deputy clerks. This court is now adjourned.
Please rise.
You're watching the Florida Channel, a public service of the Florida Legislature, WFSU TV, and Florida State University.